Hello guys, welcome back. Today, after taking apart the Chinese Levener heater that we got here for comparison and also testing, I want to show you a little bit of differences between the Chinese one and the original one, as I would like to call it, a proper one. First, we will take a look at the case and build materials of this. Okay, sorry, this is already falling apart. It's no problem. Usually the original Eberspacher one does the same. These are fixed with some kind of glue on the Eberspacher. Here it's just pushed in, but I don't see, this is not really a problem. So let's take the original case. We already have the heaters open up, and the parts from the Eberspacher's one are already some used parts, so they are not new. And this is why they look a little bit dirty, but it should not matter for our purposes. So what we see here is they look pretty much the same, and actually even the proportions, everything inside looks the same from one to another. Actually, we see these insulators missing from the Eberspacher one for the original one, but like I said, these tend to fall out, so it's not really a problem. If we look a little bit at the thickness, well, this one just feels a little bit more robust compared to this one. This I can bend more easily. Now, I know this is subjective, but I really feel that this one is a little bit thicker. And also, I don't know the type of the plastic that this Chinese heater use, but I don't see, I mean, I cannot do a material analysis now, but just from what they see, this one looks a little bit thicker, so let's say the original one should win at this category, but just by a little bit. It's not, I don't see such a big difference here, except maybe for some little bit finishing touches, some burrs, but actually it looks quite finished, so I don't see a big difference here. This is the top from the, okay, let's put this aside for now. We don't need them anymore, I think. If we need, we can come back to them. The top, as you can see, it's pretty much the same symbols on the top, of course, except for the logo, which is not here on the Levener. And from the inside also, they pretty much look the same. This one compared to this one, actually here I cannot feel such a big difference in the thickness or the build materials. The finishing touches, again, a little bit better on the original one, but it's to be expected. We still have some burrs here and so on. So I would say in this category, just to be fair, the Eberspacher wins, but just by a little bit. I think these are more flexible. Yeah, this plastic is a little bit more flexible here, and actually I'm not afraid to push this, where of this I fear that I could break it. It just feels different. You know what I mean? Okay, let's move on. Aside from that, we can see that I don't have the original grill here, but this one has a thread, so it will just go in. This one just slides in and locks. Not really a big difference from this. Okay, next we will go to these accessories. So this is the part from the Levener kit. This is the original one. Dimensions are already different. and the build quality on the original one is just superior in any kind of way. The hardness, and I almost cannot push this one deforms a little bit, but it's a lot thicker, and also the dimensions are, like I said, they are different. The finishing touches inside are actually here. I don't know if you can, how good you can see this. There is some burrs and scratch marks and so on, while this one is just really well finished and really well made. Now I don't know if this can have a big impact on the airflow, probably not, but anyway, the original one wins at this category. Now also we have here the two similar components. This is the original one, this is the Chinese one, and from outside at first look there is not a big difference except from the logo on the original one, and I don't know, the quality looks pretty much the same, except of course the finishing touches, the burrs that are here, and I'm just looking for my cutter. Well, I don't know what. I don't know. Anyway, it's not here. So there are some burrs here that I wanted to show you. If you cut them down, then yeah, you can have pretty much the same as this. Again, I will have to add the point to the original heater. I don't have this for the Eberspacher here, so we will not compare these ones. It looks okay. Like I said, the plastic overall looks okay. So what's next? Let's compare the fans. We have a fan here from the Levener, sounds okay, and we have here the fan from the Eberspacher one. Oh, this one actually sounds a little bit louder, but maybe not. This has some kind of a higher pitch to it. I don't know if the camera can record that. Anyway, both fans seems to be balanced. Let's see how they copied this one. Not really a one-to-one copy, but very similar. Again, the problems are on the aluminium, are the finishing touches that are just superior on the original one. Also, we see both blowers are balanced a little bit differently, so everything on the Chinese one is balanced only on the blower. We don't see any balancing here. Maybe it was not needed. The Eberspacher one also we see some balance here, and also we see some tears here from the plastic. This is how they balance the heater, so if you find this, just don't worry about it. They are not defects. This is how the fans get balanced. Okay, let's take a look at this part. And actually I didn't even notice on the original one that this pallet is a two-component thing, and the part from the front is actually a separate part from this, and they are somehow melted and welded together, and it's such a good job on the original one that I never noticed this, and I am working with these heaters for a long time, and yeah, but I noticed that on the Chinese one, as you can see, there are welding marks here, at least melting of the plastic on the blower. Also burrs here which are not present on the original one, and overall a better quality for the original. I cannot say anything about lifetime because this I didn't compare, and I will not do it because it takes a really long time to run both heaters, and it's not really the thing here. And both blowers have magnets inside for the ECU to know the rotation of the fan. Yeah. What else? Yeah, we can see the wires are much thinner on the Chinese one. Also, the quality of the connector it just looks cheap, yeah, compared to this one, but that doesn't mean it will not work. So again, the point goes to obviously the original one. Now you might be thinking why I'm doing this if I know which is the better heater. I'm doing this for you, so you also know the differences, because the price difference is huge and you have to know why the original one is more expensive, which are the differences, and then you can make your own choice on what to buy. Okay, let's go to the electronics, and this is the one from the Chinese heater, the Levener heater, and this one is from the original one. Immediately we can see the difference. Here we have all the connections exposed, so the board is actually exposed. This one is not, and I know this is filled with some kind of gel, and I'm not even going to try to open one of these. I have in the past, but I always manage to break something on the board, so not really my thing. I don't even know what to repair in these ones. If something is defective, then in rare cases you will see a blown component, but in most cases you will see nothing, so you will have to do all kind of measurements and so on, and maybe for us at least it's not worth fixing this. I know there are businesses who do that, it's their choice. Okay, also I think on the Levener we can switch the cables from one part to another, one side to another, and yes, I can confirm that on the case, so we can put the cable on one side or the other one. Yes, on both ECUs. We see the ones on the original one are marked, like BM, blower motor, GS. It comes from the glow plug, but it's Glühstift, I think, from German, and so on. So anyway, this is it. Also, we see on the original there is this little clamp here to hold the wires that come from the overheat sensor and the glow plug, to hold them here so they don't touch and don't grind against the heat exchanger. We don't see that on this one. Top, of course, this is aluminum one, and I think it's just better with shielding this electronics so it won't interfere with anything else on the car, and this is important for some OEMs, so they don't have interference from the heater. Again, I will try to take this cap off, but not too much, so you can see that everything is exposed here. Yeah, it's in a casing, but water or moisture could still go onto the electronics. Okay, we have a temperature sensor like on the Eberspacher one. Yeah, where is it? Actually, it's not on the same side, so this is different. So on the original one we have the temperature sensor here, on this one we have it on the other side. Yeah, and again we should have the the hole sensor here, which we can see here. We have some kind of gel, and it's very well built in. And this one, you just can see through it, and you can see the connections and the electronics inside. So let's also take a look at the connector. Of course, a lot of options here on the original one, which we don't have here. So just a few wires for the fuel pump and probably the controller, the supply, and this is it. I cannot say about the tightness of this connector when they are pushed together with its matching side. I see some rubber in there, so probably they could resist some splashing with water. Anyway, the seals are a little bit out, and the biggest problem I see here, the not used connectors are not filled. So even if you have weather tightening on this, if you don't fill these holes yourself, water will still go into the connector, and that's it. So yeah, also on the matching side is the same story. So they should protect these holes also. If we take a look at the original one, we see that the holes and the connections that are not used have the holes filled. So there is a seal pushed in everywhere, so you can truly achieve water tightness of this connector. Okay, so which one wins? I think it's obvious. Another point to the original one. Yeah. Next, let's take a look at the glow plug. Now, of course, from outside they look similar, even the size. I think even the thread is the same. Yeah, the thing is, this is a hexagon one, and we can open this easily with a tool from outside the heater, and I don't think we can do that on this one. I have the tool here from Eberspacher, and let's see if, but it will not match the Chinese one, or no, it just won't fit in. So this one is a problem to open it from the outside. If there is no special tool, maybe you can get in through the heat exchanger like this, and maybe you can try to open the glow plug. Could be that you succeed, could be not. If it's tightened really well, probably you will not open it from the outside. Once it reaches this level of wear, like this one, like I told you, this is not new, and then it will be really hard to open if you cannot get a good grip on it. This one you can with this tool. Okay, so this is pretty much it from the build quality. I don't know what to say, which one. At the first look, it's not such a big difference. Yeah, I think these both connections are fine, they should work fine. The cables and this one are really thick and rigid. This one quite the same. This rubber gasket or cap, besides from the color, I don't think there is a big difference. And the connector itself, yeah, well, you can see the original one looks a little bit nicer. It's a little bit, has a better finish, and overall looks a little bit better. I don't know. So for the glow plug, I don't know how much this lasts and how well it works. I cannot really call it a tie just because it cannot be opened from the inside, but the build quality, yeah, this one is a little bit better. So again, we will have to give this point to the original one. Now we are going to the overheat sensor. Let's also remove it from this heat exchanger. Now, as you can see, the Chinese one, Leveler one, has only one connector, as the original Eberspacher one has two. And again, on the electronics, this plug is left empty on the Chinese one and it's not used. So nothing goes in there. Again, I know the Eberspacher one monitors the flame, let's say so, the flame, and also the temperature of the air that gets out of the heater on this sensor. So this one here monitors the temperature, so the heater will also know if it's overheated from this. So if the temperature reaches 120 degrees for the D2 or 150 degrees for the D4, the heater will say it's overheating and it will stop. And also, if the temperature of the heat exchanger reaches 250 for the D4, and I'm not sure now, no, 280, I think 280 for the D4, then I'm not sure about the D2, then it will also say it's overheating. There are two different errors: overheating at the temperature sensor, overheating at the flame sensor. So yeah, we have a little bit better monitoring of both processes here on the original one. And this one, since it's connected to the heat exchanger only, I think it only monitors the temperature of the heat exchanger, not the temperature of the air that is going on the outside of the heater. Yeah. So again, the build quality just looks much better on the original one, and also it has a metal connection directly, so better heat transfer probably here. And overall the connectors look better. Yeah. Another point, I don't think it's surprising that the original heater wins, because yeah, the price is also a big difference. Okay, let's take a look at the heat exchanger. And actually we can see it's a different story here. So these are not exactly the same. The Chinese one is a little bit longer. I don't know why, but yeah, at least this one is not a one-by-one copy. It's a little bit larger, it's a little bit different, and I don't really understand why is that, because everything else looks the same, just the size is a little bit better, larger. So I would say that the Chinese heater is a little bit longer than the D2. And why is this? I have really no idea why the Chinese one is a little bit larger. Maybe it's compensating for something, for some heat transfer. I don't know, I cannot answer this question. So, but the thing is, it's larger, it's longer. Of course, now this one is a used one, and this is why it's black inside. The quality of the finishings, I would say they are pretty much the same. So I don't see that none of the heat exchangers is more or less better finished than the other one. Okay, so I think we have the first category that I think it's a tie here. The weight is about, and I think this one feels a little bit heavier even if it's smaller, so maybe it has to do something with the, I don't know, I would need to put them on the scale to know exactly. Yeah, so let's call this a tie. And of course now this is the preferences of some things, and if you have or have not the space to mount the larger heater. Here also we can see a little bit of difference, but the heat exchanger is the same until this point, and this one is a little bit longer, yeah, like I said. Okay, let's move on. This, let's call it a tie. It's not really such an extraordinary part. The fins are okay, about the same thickness as the original one. Now of course, like I said, I cannot do quality the material tests here. Yeah, overall slightly a little bit better finishes on the original one, but not by far, so we will call this a tie. Okay, let's go on with the burner. Now with the burner, it's a different story here, and I would not expect this to be the same. The diameter is the same. Let's see if, I think this way we can compare. It's the same height, same construction, everything, but still a bigger heat exchanger. Well, it's interesting. Okay, so it's like a Xerox, everything is the same. Of course now you can see there are some quality issues here at these welding points, which on the original one just looked much better, a much better job, and also the finishing touches, everything, it just looks better on the original one, and it's to be expected. The pipe, everything seems it just looks like a more quality piece. Also the thickness, this one is much thicker. The materials used, now this is a very thick pipe here, and I don't know if the heater was tested or not. There are some burn marks here, and I don't know, because the heat exchanger itself, it's clean, so I don't know from where these marks are, but could be that these burners get tested somehow. Also this wall is thicker. We can see two weldings on the original one, only one welding on the Chinese one. I don't know why this is like that. Of course, I don't know how good can you see it, but the inside, this is just a little bit off center. So this piece of pipe, it's not exactly centered with the inside of the burner, and it can be seen here. I don't know if you can see it. It's just like this pipe is a little bit off to this side, because there's a bigger distance inside on one part of the burner. So who knows, this could be an issue after a while. Yeah, and this is just from my side, it's a better quality, and it's to be expected, because Eberspacher also has a big factory where they make only exhausts, so they have a really good understanding with materials that get hot and get burned and so on. So it's expected the flame tube to be a higher quality, and I would say a much higher quality in this case. So we also see screens for the glow plug on both, air holes for starting the heater here also. Yeah, this is it. So it's no question here, the clear winner is the Eberspacher one. And just because this one is off center, I don't know what to say. We will see how it works. We will test them, so we will do a comparison also in working modes for the heater, and we will see then which one wins. Now for this is the last part I have here. It's the fuel pump, again, what can we say about this? Dimensions are pretty much the same. This one is a little bit bulkier on on both ends. Of course, this doesn't mean anything. This pump can work as this one, maybe even more silenter, who knows. So the only difference here is that the Eberspacher one, well, you can see when the connectors are the same pretty much, and the Eberspacher one here, you have a little bit of strainer inside here, and you could open it and see if any debris get into the pump. Well, it will not go into the pump, it will get stopped here. So this is a good thing to have. The Chinese one uses this filter. And I'm saying this all the time, you don't need a fuel filter if you have clean fuel. So it's just another part where air can get into your system. So this is the Chinese filter. Yes, we have a filter for debris here. So the fuel will come on one side. We have the arrow here. So this is the intake. It will go through this mesh and this screen. I don't know. It looks okay. And then it will come back already filtered on the other side and go to the pump. Yeah. And also, using this filter, you also have a separation for the water. Yeah. So if you have water in your fuel, then you could just empty the water from this knob here. It is a nice thing to have. I don't know, like I said, it's not really necessary, and you have to understand, if you install on cars when you don't have the space, usually this is just a bulky part that you don't need in the case of the original ones. So the pumps, again, I will have to give this again to the original one, just because we have a strainer here, and yeah, it's a nice thing to have. We will see about the sound of them when we start the heaters. Okay guys, so this is pretty much it. I hope you got all your facts that you need. Of course, when we will compare the functioning of the heaters, probably we will see bigger differences. Also of the working modes, which I don't know how the Chinese heater works yet, how it controls temperature and so on, so we will just have to see that. Okay, thank you for watching, guys. Sorry for boring you, or not. I don't know how long this video will be. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.